Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe here at First Presbyterian Church in Smithfield, North Carolina. I'm the pastor here, and I welcome you as we gather for an evening together. I'm thankful that you can join me on this Thursday, May 7th, 2020. The passage I want to take time for us to reflect on is one that is familiar to many households in our congregation. It comes from the Gospel of John in the 14th chapter. Jesus said, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going." Thomas said to him, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" And Jesus said to him, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." We are coming to a close this week in our reflections on our theme of the Good Shepherd. This passage is particularly fitting because it is about the path before us and following where Jesus leads us. Writer Alden Bass, writing in Plow, a spiritual quarterly, describes us, the church, as a committed Christian community, and that our story is a story of roads. The first followers of Jesus called themselves the Way, a name that echoes Jewish halakha, the way of life enshrined in the Torah, as well as the disciples' belief that Jesus was the way to God the Father. The earliest community that formed in Jerusalem after Jesus' execution and crucifixion was composed of the original disciples and pilgrims who had traveled to Jerusalem to celebrate the holy days. United by the conviction that Jesus' resurrection was a sign of covenant renewal and new creation, these Jews marched through the Red Sea of baptism into a radically new way of life. I think we find resonance with Bass's words. "This evening I come to you, as together we continue to seek the path before us." In part, I'm laying out a path for Sunday, where the passage from John is the lectionary reading for the Sunday. I have felt many days during this season of quarantine and social distancing as if I had been on a hike in the woods, following a well-worn path from many hikers before me, and suddenly came to the end of the road where the path just simply gave out, or had become overgrown, or nobody had walked there before. And even though I know that we have to go forward and have a sense of being pulled forward to what lies beyond and what I trust is a better future for us all, I am uncertain. I feel moments of anxiety when I am having to discern that path by sense and instinct. These words from Jesus today give us a leading edge as we listen to the voice of the shepherd. Jesus' words become a touchstone, reassurance. I shared this particular passage in particular during what we Presbyterians call a celebration of witness to the resurrection, or more commonly known in the South as a funeral. We remember a person's life. We remember these words, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," not to remember and celebrate the life that has passed, but the life that is yet before us. Something new and wonderful, better than before. That path leads to a homecoming. Too often we forget that the voices of this world and the powers of this mortal, finite world lay out many promising, enticing paths and roads and ways before us, but ultimately they lead us into isolated dead ends. When we hear the voice of Jesus, our Good Shepherd, it leads along a path that none of us mere mortals would dare tread alone. But the shepherd's road goes on and on forever toward home and safe haven. It is a home filled with light and life, and it is his voice we answer when he calls. I am the way and the truth and the life. With those words, I think it only appropriate to close with a poem as our blessing tonight from Robert Frost, The Road Less Taken, or The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I'm sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler along I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. The love and light of Christ surround us all. Peace be with you. Good night.